Elara didn't see faces. She saw pulses. To her, the world wasn't a collection of people, buildings, and streets, but a symphony of rhythmic thumping, the gentle beat of jugular veins, the deep percussion of a heart, and underneath it all, the sweet, metallic scent of what flowed inside them. It all began when she was 7 years old. After a fever so intense it felt like her very brain was boiling inside her skull. When she finally woke up, the world she knew was gone. Something else had taken its place. A deep, gnawing hunger that felt older than time itself had settled into her soul, replacing whatever innocence she once had. By the time she was 24, Elara had built a fortress against the world and against herself. She lived in a basement apartment, a cave of her own making, with walls painted entirely in matte black. The color absorbed the light, just as her existence seemed to absorb life. She had a strict rule: no mirrors. She couldn't bear the sight of her own reflection. The pale, almost translucent skin stretched tight over her bones, the dark circles under her eyes that spoke of endless, sleepless nights fighting the craving. Her life was a nocturnal one. She only ever went outside at midnight, when the city was quiet and the shadows were long enough to hide in. The daytime was for sleeping, a temporary death to escape the constant, drumming noise in her head. One rainy Tuesday, everything changed. The city lights smeared across the wet pavement, creating a blurry, neon dreamscape. As she was walking, her gaze locked with a street performer. He was playing a haunting melody on a violin, his eyes closed in concentration. But for Elara, in that single frozen instant, it was as if his skin became translucent. It was a vision only she could see. She saw the intricate network of his veins, a glowing blue map leading to his heart. She saw the powerful valves of his heart pumping, a heavy, wet, rhythmic sound that completely drowned out the noise of the city traffic, the rain, and even his own music. It was the only sound in the universe. Her fingers began to twitch, an involuntary response to a command she couldn't ignore. A cold sweat broke out on her brow. It wasn't a choice, not really. It wasn't about wanting to kill him. It was a need, a physical compulsion that felt like it was woven into her very DNA. C'est at tout. The feeling was absolute, a biological imperative that overrode all thought, all morality, all fear. The noise in her head, the constant, maddening thrum of 1,000 distant heartbeats, focused into a single, deafening roar. She began to follow him. He packed up his violin case, oblivious to the shadow that now clung to him. He walked away from the main street, turning down a narrow, cobblestone alleyway. The air in the alley instantly grew colder, the dampness clinging to the brick walls. Elara moved silently, a predator in the urban jungle. The sound of his footsteps echoed, a countdown. When she was just a few feet behind him, she reached out. The moment her hand touched his shoulder, her nails, which he kept filed to impossibly sharp points, tore through the thick fabric of his coat as if it were paper. Espun found his mouth opening to scream, a sound of pure shock and terror. But Elara was faster. She didn't need a knife or any other weapon. She was the weapon. She moved with a speed that wasn't human, her teeth and her bare hands her only tools. The struggle was brief, almost silent, lost in the labyrinth of the city's forgotten spaces. The cobblestones, slick with rain, quickly became a river of dark, steaming red. The metallic scent she craved filled the air, intoxicating and overwhelming. As his life faded, as the final, frantic beat of his heart sputtered and ceased, a profound and beautiful thing happened inside Elara's mind. The noise, the incessant, tormenting noise that had been her constant companion for 17 years, finally silenced. For the first time since she was a child, there was quiet. There was peace. The relief was so total, so absolute. It was like a religious experience. But she knew it wouldn't last. The silence was a fleeting gift, a temporary reprieve. It would only be for an hour. Then the hunger and the noise would return, and the hunt would have to begin all over again. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy stories that explore the darker side of things, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We've got many more tailies from the shadows coming your way. See you in the next one.